guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Kim and this is my fiance Kyler. So I thought that we would just give you a recap on the Chevy Love, our budget build drag truck, and everything that we've done to it and some of our future plans. So I'll start with how we got the truck. So originally this truck was one of our friends. He had it and another friend had one just like it, and they were kind of like twinning. It was kind of cool.
I rode around in the truck every day for I don't even know how long. It was incredible how much I rode in this thing. But I always told him, you gotta throw that V8 that you got in it. And he never would. So I decided I wanted to. Heck, even this one time, we went to Hardin and we had two bikes in the back, two dirt bikes, 252 strokes, both of them. Fully loaded gear, fuel, you know, totally loaded to the max of this truck. And we went 80 all the way to Hardin and back. It was a couple-hour trip, and the truck never ran right after that, that's for sure. It just, it was a horrible trip for it, but...
Kind of destroyed the 4-cylinder in it.
Still ran, but didn't run that good, that's for sure.
Yeah, so going on from when our friend had it, he ended up selling it at some point. The reason we have a yellow door, our friend ended up selling it after somebody broke into it. They smashed the driver's window, and... so the window never got replaced. They just threw a yellow door on it. They had this idea. They had sheet metal that came with the truck. And she suggested doing something with license plates, like a license plate dash or something. And so that's where our license plate dash idea came from. I'm the one who like enforced it and like wanted to make sure it happened, but it wasn't originally my idea, which is kind of interesting.
Definitely not taking credit for it though.
Yeah, no, I am not going to take credit for it because the idea originally came from her, not me. But you made it. I kind of like managed. Yeah, I designed it and kind of managed the situation to make sure that it worked and helped kind of fit it because we had fitment issues quite a bit. And in the future, when we do like a tube chassis or something, we'll have to modify it again. But some of the license plates on it are actually my license plates from past cars and a couple license plates I think from some of your past vehicles, right?
Yeah, one of them very memorable.
And so we wanted to kind of stick with a Montana theme since we obviously live in Montana and we love Montana. So when we found out that this Love was for sale and we realized that it was the same exact Love that our friend had, we were mind blown. Okay, so we had to go check it out, and we got this thing for $400. We each pitched in $200 and we drove it home. First project that we really did on it was the dash because...
Well, right before we did the dash, we did do the sheet metal door panels, which we are going to probably get rid of here soon.
Yeah. So basically, some of the events that we won't, like aren't a top priority for us to be racing in are the ones that you can have fiberglass. So originally we were pretty much just going to do like full fiberglass body, right?
Tube chassis, the whole nine works. You pretty much make it into a pro mod.
Yep.
And then you realize, oh shoot, you can't do pro mods on half of the races I want to do. So
because the majority of the body on this is pretty much trash. I mean, on the bed back over here is completely rusted through, and the tailgate, I love the design that it is. I mean, the bed has like these lips on it, and the tailgate is cool. I mean, it says Chevrolet, and I love like the whole style of it, but the body is just, it's done.
We're either going to need to get a donor vehicle that has a better body on it, or, you know, like we said, fiberglass stuff, which we really don't want to do. So back to the dash and when we got the truck and everything. The first thing that we did with it was the door panels, sheet metal door panels, and then after that we still had a little bit of sheet metal left over, so we decided to do the dash. And it was probably 2 months or something in the working, and we ended up moving in the middle of this, so we had to drive the truck, no dash, no anything. A couple miles. It was probably about 5 miles, nothing too bad. But once we got it to the new place, then we decided, all right, we got a garage, I can tear into this thing. So I finished the dash off, and then I ripped the motor out, tranny, rear end, and I pulled the cab off of the frame, and I pretty much just started a frame up budget build, which pretty much replace anything that needs replaced and don't touch anything else. But we did decide to go with the Ford 9-inch. It's out of a 67 Thunderbird.
It does not have posi.
Yeah, it's not a posi rear end. We got it with a 3.0 gear ratio. So, and then we got the trans and the motor as a package. We only paid $150
Yep.
for that. And
4.3 Vortec V6.
Yep, and it was the pre-kidney bean chamber though, so it's not a true Vortec. It just is labeled as
Yep.
a Vortec.
Yep. What did we get it out of again?
The motor came out of a 95 Astrovan, and the tranny came out of a 92 C15. It's an NV3500. And then the 9-inch, we only paid, I think, $150 for it.
Yeah.
So
We just had to drive to Columbus, which is about 45 minutes away from Billings.
it wasn't too bad. But so at that point, we're only, we're $750 into it at this point. So
With buying it.
yeah, with buying it. And so I tear everything out. I start throwing the stuff in, slowly piecing together what I'm going to need to mount the stuff together. It definitely was a long process.
The motor mounts was a long process.
Oh, yeah.
We pulled this thing in and out of the truck countless times, and we broke them like multiple times. Like, you had to get them re-welded. You tried.
Because we only tack welded them to make sure they
Yep.
would fit, obviously,
Yep.
before a full weld was in place.
And they were just never the wrong size. And then once we thought that everything was fine and we got it in, they broke like 2-3 times, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So finally we got it on, and I didn't have a welder, so I kept having to take it to someone. The first couple times, use Sharpie, mark it as best as I could, and then just any way I could possibly try to do it, I had to. And then finally I had one of my friends bring over a cheap Harbor Freight welder just to be able to get some micro tacks in. We got all that in, and then we kind of got to a standstill because of money, obviously. After a while, it kind of just sat, didn't get touched for at least a couple months.
I think it went close to a year without really doing much. I mean, we did
Mhm.
simple things like finishing up the dash. I think we cut the bed. I mean, for a while we had the bed actually off the truck in the garage, and we also even had the cab off of the frame as well.
We took the cab off of the frame pretty much so we wouldn't have to jack the truck up and get under it with all this stuff not being bolted on. It just made the tranny mount, making it a lot easier. Yeah, after it sat for about a year or so, finally was able to start getting parts together, and so
We had to move. So we had decided we weren't going to sign another year lease, and we needed to get out of there. And since the Love was not even close to being able to drive, I mean, nothing was put together. We had to start getting things like the U-bolts and purchase.
Oh yeah, U-bolts, perches, the plates, drive shaft.
Yep, we had to get everything for the rear end, and then we realized we needed a drive shaft, and we had to get custom, right? So we got a chromoly drive shaft for our specific length, because obviously the Love is really small.
But at the same time, it's a long one-piece drive shaft. It's
Yep.
a 52-inch shaft. That's pretty long. Typically on that kind of an application, you're going to see a two-piece in that instance.
Yep.
So it was a little bit hard to get a hold of one, but once I was able to find one, it was a decent price, so pulled the trigger.
Yep.
After we started getting all the parts in, more stuff came up that I needed to buy. After getting all the parts ordered up, it took about a month to finally get everything sorted out that we were going to need, installed everything. We did have a little bit of issues getting it running at first. We finally get it running though, and at that point I'm probably about $2,100 into this thing. It did cost a little bit of money, obviously, to get it running how we wanted it. We didn't get the cheap stuff necessarily, you could say,
No.
but we didn't go all out.
Well, and we had to get like all hoses. The radiator that we have in it is oversized, and it came with the truck.
We're using all AN fittings and lines as much as we can on the truck, and that the plan is to only have AN lines on it. So right now we're running an 8AN line, which is a 1/2 inch inside diameter. Way overkill for a V6, but I'd rather have it there in place for the future. So
Yep.
so after we get it running though, we drive it around a little bit. It was pretty fun, and the gear ratios kind of worked out for the small tires that we're running right now. But I was being a little bit dumb, and you guys probably saw in one of the last videos that I snapped the pinion on the rear end. So we had to get a new third member. I wasn't able to get the gear ratio I wanted, sadly. So what we have now is 3.7, and it really doesn't work out with the tire size and the trans that we're running, but it is what it is. So we're kind of just dealing with it right now as the budget will let us.
Yeah. And at this point, before we got it running, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to get it running, financially wise, and because we were running really short on time. So we were thinking we're probably just going to have to like roll it, like get it rolling. Was
Ghetto tow.
Yeah, the first thing that we were thinking, like top priority, was just being able to get it rolling. So getting the body put back together, the rear end solid, and this is where we also ran into an issue. We did not have back wheels.
Yep.
So I had bought random snow tires off of Facebook once, and so I still had the rims because they wouldn't fit on my car. So we took the summer tires that were from that car and put them on the rims that were just sitting in the garage, and that is why we have super tiny, no tread on the rear end. So
we're going to be running a small tire on it. There's no way I'm going to be able to stuff a big tire under it with how small of a bed and everything that's on it. It's just not going to happen. So, and for you guys that don't know, a small tire typically is going to be a 28 and 10.5 wide. Sometimes I've seen them where they're 29s, but it's not as common. So that's what we're going to run, 28 by 10.5. More than likely, we're going to go with I think it was the Mickey Thompson Street SS, if I recall correctly. After we threw the third member back in there and everything, drive shaft bolted back up, we kind of noticed there was a vibration in the drive shaft, and it was from when it broke the pinion. The drive shaft smacked the fuel tank really hard, so I think it bent it a little bit. We still haven't fixed that yet. Honestly, I know I'm being stupid and driving it around, but it is what it is.
And it gets us from point A to point B when we want it to. We get to have some fun in it when we want to have fun in it. That's what matters right now. I mean, if it breaks or if something else breaks because of it, well, we're just going to upgrade that anyways.
Exactly.
It's already going to get upgraded, so might as well just have a little fun while it's still actually working.
Exactly. It's not necessarily the correct way to do it.
Yeah,
but
no,
it's
definitely
our way.
not recommended.
You guys don't do that.
Yeah, no.
We are idiots.
Yeah. And we're cheap idiots.
Yeah, very, very. So we kind of just go ahead and start running it a little bit. We start cruising it around, trying to get a little bit of racing in as much as we can. And this thing is slow. It's V6 slow.
I mean, it's
got a quadra jet in it.
Quick. It's quick for what it is. I mean, the Love is super tiny, super light. I mean, she scoots, but she's not quick. Like, she's not fast at all.
My Diesel's way faster.
Yeah. Even my Subaru might be able to swamp this thing. And my Subaru is the slowest car either of us have probably ever owned.
By far.
Yeah.
The Love, when it had a 4-cylinder, it was even quicker than this. So we've been driving it around here and there is when we need, and one thing that we ran into is we weren't running an air filter for a long time because there was no room in the hood.
Yeah.
So that's why there's a huge hole in the hood.
Yeah, that was a very recent change within the past couple months that I finally just told him we have to do it because we've had so many overheating issues here, okay? And there's more that we could get into that and what's been going on.
Every time a coolant line would blow, it would just fill the carburetor. And that's finally what got me to say, all right, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it may look a little like ghetto that we had to cut a hole in the hood, but it is what it is.
Exactly.
I mean, when you put an engine in a smaller vehicle that it's not supposed to be in, and it's larger, I mean, you've got limited options. Unless we go and buy a new hood, which, don't get me wrong, we will be doing in the future. But as the Love sits currently, that's not a top priority.
Not at all.
Yeah, so we just needed to cut the hole in there so that we could actually fit an air filter in it.
2300 RPM or so, it starts misfiring really, really bad out of every cylinder from the sounds of it. So I thought it was ignition, replaced the control module, didn't help, replaced the intake manifold gaskets, the head gaskets, checked the distributor vacuum advance for any leaks, and I couldn't find a single thing, honestly. So we threw it back together, and we've kind of been messing around with it, trying to tune it in as much as we can, but we haven't had much luck, honestly. I haven't had any issues with it today, but that doesn't, for all I know, we're going to drive home here and get stranded, honestly.
Yep.
So
this thing is very temperamental. One day it wants to drive amazing and it's honestly got pretty good speed, but then the next day, it's misfiring, it's dying, and it's leaving us stranded, and we're sitting there trying to figure it out and get a couple blocks away again,
Yeah, that's kind of, I guess, where we sit with it. Still troubleshooting it, trying to pinpoint our issues, but that gives you a good little recap of what we've done to the truck so far. Future plans, like we were saying earlier, we can't really do a pro mod like we wanted because those are not allowed in a lot of the races anymore. So we're going to probably do, obviously, a back half kit. I want to front half it also, so then it would only leave the middle, 24 inches of frame rail or whatever it is, just to make it legal in the classes that we're going to want to race. So we're going to be racing in the small tire class, and we will also do a little bit of no prep, but we can't do grudge racing because obviously we're sharing what we're doing to the truck and everyone would know, and that's not grudge racing. It's a secret, heads up, obviously. We're going to do back half, front half, bucket seats, full 12-point cage. We're going to do the 5-point harnesses. I'm planning on doing an LS. We don't know exactly which route we're going to go. It's going to be more of a budget choice than anything else.
Yep. So far, this truck has primarily been an eBay build.
Yeah.
That was kind of the original goal with it, is to see what all we could do with just eBay. And it kind of took off from there.
Yeah. The engine choice that I want to go with is kind of not practical for my budget or for, honestly, my age. I know I'm young, but I want to be fast. I want to be able to go out there and beat almost anyone, if not everyone. Yes, there's going to be things that make me not be able to here and there, but we're going to do everything we can to make it as fast as absolutely possible. I want to be able to go out to the drag strip and race in almost any class and win.
Doesn't everybody, though? Yes, that's what we'd want, and yes, that is a goal, but
not practical anytime soon, though, obviously.
No, we're talking probably over 30 years here.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's going to be a while.
There's going to be a lot of engines in the process, a lot of transmissions in the process, possibly a couple of rear ends.
So we got a cop rolling up on us right now.
Let's see if he stops us, because we're just sitting here filming a video, being super innocent.
If he does, I'm going to laugh my ass off.
He's probably going to be like, what are these people doing? They're sitting here talking to a fence post.
The funny thing is, it's probably the same cop that sees us out here all the time.
Yeah, we come out here a lot. I really like this spot because we're very close to Billings, and we do live in the biggest city in Montana. But, yeah, there he is.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Just shooting a video. Sorry, what was that?
You're gonna get wet.
Yeah. Have a good one. Yeah, same cop that we see out here all the time.
Yeah, we like this spot because, as I was saying, we live in Billings, and we're literally just a couple minutes out of Billings. I don't live too far from here, but at the same time, we're in the middle of nowhere, and that's where I like to be.
To the future plans here, the transmission, I'm planning on going with Turbo 400. I'm not too sure on details within it, I haven't done much research. The rear axle, gonna have to be a 35 spline carrier, so that's gonna have to be upgraded. We will get a narrowed axle that comes with the shafts and everything ready to go, with the back half kit that I'm planning on buying. It is gonna be a complete kit ready to go, weld in. I just gotta wait a little bit for money, obviously. It's $3,200 for the whole kit, complete, ready to go, everything except for the third member. That's definitely my plan. And yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, obviously, LSX is going to be the best option, but that's a lot of money. It's about $14,000 from what I've been able to tell for a complete kit, with the harness and the PCM and all that good stuff. We are going to be running a turbo or twin turbos on this thing. It really just depends on rules. Again, some classes allow twin turbos, some allow only singles, some say V8 singles, some say V6 twins. It's hit or miss.
And originally, real quick, what we thought about doing with this truck, when we first got it, our goal was a V8. We wanted to put a 5.3 in here. That was the original goal. And when we came across the steal of a deal for the V6 with the NV 3500, we decided we had to jump on it. And originally we thought we were just going to turbo this. But now that we've had so many issues with it, and it's not worth it. I mean, we'd want to put like forged internals and all that in it, and not worth it. I'd rather be, if this thing will even hold up for who knows how long, I'd like to just leave this in here so that it's moving, and then in the garage or something, you know, just start building from the bottom up, 5.3 V8 and completely built. Obviously we'd end up turboing it, but then blow the motor in this thing and just swap in a completely built, brand new, ready to go V8 and see where that takes us.
Obviously that would be the best, but that's not...
Financially, I don't think that would really be an option, but that's what we've wanted to do since day one of buying this truck. Maybe one day when we have more money, because once again, we're very young. We're both 20, and currently we're not doing so hot financially, I'll tell you that right now. So this is a lot of stuff that we want to do with the Love has been put on hold, but we don't want to keep it on hold forever. So we don't know if we'll be doing that. We might in the future. I don't know how soon that would ever be, or what other things we may throw in the mix, like, because we just decided to randomly get this V6. So who knows what we'll be doing, but it'll definitely be interesting.
Alright, this is getting to be a little bit of a longer video. I know it's a lot of talking. I'm sorry. Thank you guys for sticking through if you've made it this far. We'll give you a quick walk around of the Love, show you kind of where we're at right now, how beautiful it is out here, and we're going to go ahead and call it a night.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, and stay tuned for future videos.
Look at him taking over my outro.
Why do I feel like I linger between the words to say the words to remember? Now we're here to take control over your body and over your soul. We're gonna take back everything and lose it all.